Hey everybody, Dale here with Scrapyard Rescue. Today we're kind of back on the car. I know it's been a while since I've done a video on this thing, but you know, we had about a week of really nice weather, and then now it's past 2-3 weeks. It's just turned into, you know, crappy spring, cold, wet, raining, thunderstorms, hail, you know, you name it. And I've just been hiding out, waiting for it to clear up. Today, well, at least it's not raining right now. It has been all morning. But anyways, the update on the Fairlane. We've had some ups and downs. I think on the last video, I was still working on suspension. Well, I was working on trying to get all the clunks and creaks and stuff out, and I had come to the conclusion that I thought that the U-joints were probably bad on the car. So I got on the old interweb. I looked up U-joints, and I wanted the speedometer cable was broken, so I wanted to get a new speedometer cable. So I checked on Parts Geek. They had all the parts. 57 bucks and some change, and I thought, well, that ain't bad. So I hit the checkout, and of course it bumped it up to almost 26 bucks in shipping. Of course, with Parts Geek, everything you order comes from a different catalog, so I was going to have to pay 3 shipping fees to get 2 universal joints and a speedometer cable. I thought that sucked. So by chance, I called O'Reilly's, and I'll be dipped if they didn't have the 2 universal joints and the speedometer cable. But it was the same thing. They had to order them. So I was like, okay, well, how much are they? 57 bucks and some change. I thought, well, they matched Parts Geek price exactly. So I called them on a Saturday. And they said, well, we can't call it in till Monday, but they'll be here Tuesday at 10 o'clock, which is just a couple days. I thought, hey, that's great. And I don't have to pay the shipping. So Tuesday morning, I hopped in the car, took the 100-mile trek to O'Reilly's and back, got home, jumped under the car, pulled the drive shaft off, got it up on the work table, and I realized that the U-joints weren't bad. They were fine. And you've all heard this phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a good policy to go by, but of course I didn't do it. I went ahead and figured, well, I already bought them, I already got them. If I don't use them, then I got to bring them back. If I put them in, then I know I'll have brand new U-joints in there, and then I won't have to worry about that ever. Well, that all worked real good on the rear universal joint. When I went to put the front one in, I put it in the slip yoke first, then went to put it in the drive shaft. Doesn't fit. 2 of the cups on the one universal joint were bigger than all the other ones. So they didn't fit in it. They didn't fit in anything. And there was no way I was going to try to force them in, because I figured that sure as hell that's going to just bust one of the ears off of something, and then I'm going to be screwed out of that. So after screwing around for a couple of hours with it, I finally put the old front U-joint back in. I got all the little needle bearings sorted out and got new grease in there, and I got it all back together, put the drive shaft all back on. And in the meantime, when I was messing with that, I think I had jacked the car up so I could get under there farther. And I noticed that this driver's side rear wheel was loose. And I was like, oh, great. So I popped the center cap off, and the lug nuts had loosened up on it. And that's what was causing the vibration. Well, they send you these weird looking lug nuts on these things, which I didn't like. I think the metal's really cheap on them. You know, I'm sure it's Chinese crap, so it's recycled cars and stuff that they're making these parts out of. So I went and I got the regular, you know, Ford lug nuts, the good heavy duty ones, and seeing how they're under a center cap, I didn't care what they look like, so I screwed them on and I made sure those suckers were tight. And I checked the other one on the passenger side, and I'll be danged if it wasn't loose too. So my back wheels were wobbling, so I luckily got it in time, and it didn't ruin my brand new rim. So anyways, I got them all tightened up. I got the drive shaft back in the car. So then I went to put the speedometer cable in. So I take it out of the box, and the first thing I notice is on the part that goes into the transmission, they didn't put the O-ring on a brand new one. You don't get an O-ring. Apparently you have to go buy a separate O-ring for it. So, and then you can't take the one off the old one, because I tried and it broke immediately. So I'm thinking, this is just great. The closest hardware store I have to my house is 25 miles one way. So I would have to do 50-mile round trip to get a 10-cent O-ring. So that pissed me off. And then I also noticed, well, you don't get the little drive gear on the end of them. That was my own fault. I didn't know I was supposed to get that separate, so I couldn't have put it in anyway, because the drive gear on the old one was broken. So I'm looking at the end of the speedometer cable, and there's a little tab bracket that bolts to the transmission that holds the speedometer cable in. It's not on the new cable, and you can't use the old one because it has to be put on during assembly of the cable. It slides up and down the cable. You can't fit it over the ends. That wasn't on there. So then I'm looking at the cable still, and I realized that the boot that goes through the floor, they don't have a boot on the new cable. Same thing. You can't use the one off the old cable because you can't get them off. And you can't get them back on. So it didn't have the boot that went through the floor. It didn't have the tab to mount it to the transmission. It didn't have the O-ring that's supposed to go in there. So I threw it back in the box, and sure enough, I had to make a trip back to O'Reilly's and return the one U-joint that didn't work and return the speedometer cable. So I took the speedometer cable out of my other Fairlane, which looked like it was like almost new. So I'm wondering if at one time somebody hadn't replaced that, because the gear was perfect. The boot was still perfect. The cable itself was nice. I just cleaned it all off, and hell, it looked brand new. So I put that in here, and it works fine. The speedometer works now and everything. But so I got all that stuff done. Okay, so I'm driving down I'm sitting over here one afternoon after I had done all that stuff, having a cold snack, and I smell gas. So I'm like, okay, what's that? So I come over here and look, the gas tank is leaking. This is that was the second gas tank in the car. The original tank started leaking. I took the tank out of that car. I checked it for leaks, filled it with water, cleaned it, all that stuff. Didn't see any leaks. Put that in this car. Had been driving the car on my test runs for a couple weeks. And then one day I'm sitting there, same thing. I smell gas. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Or no, actually what happened was I took it down to the gas station. After I got the other tank in, I wanted to put some more gas in it because I just had a can full of gas in it. So I get down there, they put $20 worth of gas in it, and I'm standing out there talking to the person, and I happened to look down underneath just to make sure nothing was dripping. Freaking gas is pouring out of the front of it. Like a dummy, when I put the sending unit in, I didn't seal it. I just, completely spaced out on it. So I get haul ass back home, get it in here, and drain the freaking gas out of the tank. And there's one good thing about putting an electric fuel pump in this car. Just got to unhook the hose and turn the key on. It pumps all the gas into the can for you. That was a good thing. So, anyways, I take the tank back out. Take the sending unit out. Seal the sending unit. Put it back in. Put the tank back in the car. Get it all bolted up. Pour all the gas back in it. Drove it around a couple days. Wasn't leaking. Said, great. One day I come out. I hear some noise. I look back here. And it's dripping. So the tank's leaking. And the weird thing about it is both tanks leaked in the exact same spot on both tanks. On the center crease goes down the tank where the tanks kind of go like this. There's a little upsweep in the back of the tank right in there on that bend, and on the center crease that goes through is where the hole was. Doesn't make any sense because there wouldn't be any water sitting there. You know, I would have assumed that if it rusted through, it would have been up in the lower corners where water would settle. But nope, right in the middle of the tank. So I take the tank back out. I take the old tank that I had in there and I cleaned it up real good where it leaked. I silver soldered the hole, made it look real nice. Looked to me like it was a good solder. Nice and clean, smooth, looked all good. Thought, okay, that'll work. Put water in it, didn't leak. Put the tank back in, drove the car a little bit, came back. Next day, it's leaking. So then, I take the tank out, and I go and I buy this JB Weld epoxy gas tank sealer. It says it works. You know, works with, you don't have to drain the tank, you don't have to do this, you just put this stuff on. So I did all that, put it on, mixed all the stuff up, put the goop on. There's a little fiberglass patch you put over, did that, gooped it all up, let it sit overnight, a good 24 hours, put gas in the tank, and it leaked. So then I ripped the tank out, and now I'm pissed. I'm deciding, okay, I'm just going to have to buy a new gas tank. So I look up the gas tank. Cheapest one I could find, $228, which I didn't think was, you know, bad, plus shipping. So I kind of hesitated. I was kind of beat up from the thing, so I had to take a break from that. So anyways, I waited around, and was asking questions if anybody knew of a good way to seal a tank and stuff like that. And on one of the car forums, a guy commented on my question that he goes, why don't you take it to a radiator shop? And I went, oh, why didn't I think of that? They got a really good radiator shop in town. And I know the guy, and he's a really good guy. He does a lot of stuff for me. He's fixed a radiator and a Pinto. He sandblasts for me. He's got a powder coating shop there. He does welding and fixes stuff for me when I need it done. All kinds of good stuff. I'm like, so I call him up. I go, hey, Leo, you can fix a gas tank, right? He goes, oh yeah, we fix them all the time. So I bring the gas tank in. He thoroughly cleans the whole tank out. Fixed it all up. Silver soldered the hole. Then he put a patch over the hole, and he soldered all that in and sealed that all up. Completely cleaned the tank so it looked like it was brand new inside. I mean, he rinsed it with muriatic acid because he won't torch anything on them unless he cleans them. He doesn't want them to blow up. Pressure tested the tank. He said he put 3 pounds of air in the tank first. Didn't get any leaks, so he bumped it up to 5 pounds of air, and he said he could see the tank was starting to expand, and it still wasn't leaking. Everything was good, so he said, I guarantee you that tank is not going to leak. So that only cost me $120 instead of $250 to get a new one shipped here. So what I'm going to do today is I've got the tank sitting in the shop here. I painted it all back up yesterday, and I'm going to crawl underneath here, and we're going to put the tank in and put some gas in it, and hope like heck that it doesn't leak. Because I guess if it leaks now, then I just got to buy the tank. So anyways, we're going to do that here in a minute. I got to go change, get a different jacket on. Still kind of cold here. I don't know if it's going to rain. There's rain over there across the valley, so it'll probably get here and rain on me when I'm laying underneath there or anything. So anyways, with that, I'm going to get started. I've taken this tank out so many times in and out that it's really easy. If I can get a half an hour of clear time, it'll be all done. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and I'll get you in here when I get back and get ready, and we'll just crawl under there and try to get this tank in. Okay, fellas, we got the tank up in there. I'm going to get down in here and get it tightened up, and we'll be good to go here in a few minutes. Okay, it's in. Just got to put that hose clamp up there. We'll be putting some gas in it. Okay guys, there's got the tank in. Kind of hard to see down here. Sort of bad angle, pretty low. But anyways, got the tank all back in. Looks nice, all painted up real cool. Gonna go up and fire the car up. I don't see any drips, so that's good. I wanted to show you a couple other things I've done on the car up on the inside. So let's go crawl up there. I got my package tray put in. This tray was pretty good. It wasn't all crudded up, but the problem was somebody had cut speaker holes in it, and I didn't want them in there, so I patched the holes, and I got some vinyl, glued it on, and tucked it up in there. It looks nice, and that's my new upholstery for now on the back seat. So maybe someday I'll get some money and I'll get to, do a good upholstery job. Wanted to show you something on the other car too. I've been working on my shed here, fixing it up. We want to try to put our place up for sale, so I'm cleaning everything up. But here's the second Fairlane. I tore the carpet, everything out of it here last week. You can see there's some surface rust up there on that floorboard, but it's nothing bad. It's not through or anything, so I'll just either get some, I'll probably put the Rust-Oleum heavy rust primer and paint the whole car like I did my other one on this one. But look at how clean these floors were underneath there. A little bit of rust back here. The trunk's rusted out, but we already know that. But this is pretty nice for a car that's sat for 30 years out in the field. So, I've been kind of robbing parts off of it, but I don't really want to do that because this car's in too good a shape to just strip down and nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix this one up someday too. So anyways, I wanted to show you that and stuff. So that's good. I've been working over here on this corner, practicing doing some body work. This was mangled in pretty good. I got to get this welded here so I can grind it down. This stuff here is all pretty good. And I need to get one of these fender finishers. If anybody's got one, leave it down in the comments that you got one for sale. I need to get this one. Rest of them are all good. So I guess that's that. So okay, fellas, with all that, I'm just going to go ahead and end this video here. Please subscribe to the channel. My subscriptions are kind of went the wrong way. I lost a couple the past month, and so I'd like to get those guys back and some extras. And it's raining like I knew it was gonna, so I'm gonna quit for the day. I'll probably start the car up and get the fuel pumped up in there and all that kind of stuff, and hope nothing's leaking. But let's just go ahead and end it for the day. Appreciate you watching, and leave comments, talk to me, things like that, whatever. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't though. So with that, I'll see you later, guys, and thanks for watching.